So in today's video, I want to know if the iPhone 15 Pro is worth the upgrade from the iPhone 13 Pro. And that's what we're going to find out. So I ordered the iPhone 15 Pro in the middle of September and it finally arrived, but just in time because I came to Munich for a little trip and I thought it'd be the perfect time to put it head to head against the iPhone 13 Pro. I'm filming with it right now in cinematic mode, and so we're gonna test it by making a vlog, taking some photos, shooting some video, and then we'll find out if it's a worthy upgrade. Okay, so we're gonna start out this vlog, and before we do that, I wanted to mention that I'm gonna mainly be vlogging with the iPhone 15 in all the different modes. I do wanna dive into the log mode, but I will say that I'm gonna be saving that for a separate video focusing purely on video, because I think that's where this phone was upgraded the most and why it's the most exciting for video makers and filmmakers. But right now we're on our way to grab a coffee, and then we're going to a cool little market. What is it called, Kat?
Viktualienmarkt.
And it's like
It's an all year round farmer's market, but it also has food stands where you can just eat.
Yeah, so it'll be a great place to start off by taking a ton of photos. Yeah. Okay, so let's go. All right, so we made it to our coffee spot, and while we have our coffee, I figured we would talk about the design differences between the iPhone 15, which is being used to film with right now, and the iPhone 13. By now, you know that the iPhone 15 Pro is made with titanium, and it does have a nice feel to it. It does feel slightly lighter than the stainless steel, but once you throw a case on it, it's negligible. The corners are a little more rounded and the bezels are a little bit thinner. And you can actually notice how thin the bezels are compared to the iPhone 13 Pro. And overall, it just feels a little more comfortable to hold in the hand. The other big change is that it went from Lightning to USB-C. And for the everyday person, that really just means that they can potentially consolidate to just one cable. The phone can also act as a power bank, so it can reverse charge and charge up your AirPods Pro or someone else's iPhone 15. But the real thing that it can also provide for video makers is that now you can record externally to an SSD, and that is really helpful for professional video creators. But we'll talk more about that in the video where I focus mainly on just video making. Now, even though vlogging with the iPhone can be really convenient because it's just so much lighter, smaller than the Pro setup, there's two things that I really have issues with, and that's why I don't vlog with the iPhone often. One is if you want to see yourself and check your framing, you have to vlog with the front camera, and typically it's not the best. And if you're vlogging with the best camera, which is the back camera, now you're vlogging blindly and everyone else can see you but yourself, and it's honestly a little bit awkward.
Yeah, it is.
But right now we're on the main street heading to the museum district in Munich, and I want to know, how does the sound? Because this is actually a pretty busy street, which is actually not very busy right now. Hold up, let me wait for some more cars. Okay, now there are a bunch of cars heading along the street. So how does the sound pick up on the iPhone 15 Pro? Okay, so now I just jumped over to the iPhone 13 Pro, and there's a bunch of cars passing me. So how does the sound on the iPhone 13 Pro? before we started snapping off a bunch of photos, I just wanted to talk about the chip. The iPhone 15 Pro is now equipped with the A17 Pro chip, and with that chip, the phone definitely feels snappier. So in regards to the cameras, the ultra wide and the telephoto lens of the iPhone 15 Pro and the iPhone 13 Pro are actually the same. They both snap 12 megapixel photos, but it's the main camera where the biggest difference has changed. The camera now utilizes a 48 megapixel sensor, but with computational photography and its software within the phone, it spits out a 24 megapixel high resolution photo. You can also take raw photos where you get the full max resolution of 48 megapixels. So let's test all of that right now, and let's see if we can even tell a difference. So we made it out to Marienplatz, and as you can see, this place is insanely busy right now. I was gonna do a bit of the video testing here, but I think it's a little bit too crowded to get what I want. So I'm gonna take some test clips and some comparison clips that the everyday user would most likely get. And with the inclusion of Log, I think that's where the iPhone 15 Pro is starting to put itself into a position for professional users to integrate into their daily workflow. But for that in-depth video, I'm gonna have to make a separate video to really go through that all. Action mode. It only came to the iPhone in the iPhone 14, so the iPhone 13 Pro never had it. And ever since it got launched, there's been a little bit of hype, but since the iPhone 15 Pro came out, there's been a lot more attention on it because people have been releasing videos showing how it can stabilize things, and it just honestly looks unbelievable. So I want to test for myself and see what the results look like. There's a monument behind me. I want to try to orbit around it. The floor that I'm on is stupidly pebbly, so there's absolutely no way I'm going to be able to walk steady. So let's orbit around this thing and see how good the results actually are. I just watched the clip back and it's absolutely wild. I'll show you the screen recording because you'll see that I put it into action mode and I put it to the 3x lens. And walking on this floor at 77 millimeters is literally impossible. There's also a little bit of construction right there, so towards the end of the video, you'll see it get a little bit shakier because I had to change my footing a little bit. But overall, from the recorded screen grab versus the end product, like, it is shocking. So in a pinch, you can definitely use action mode to get some ridiculously stable or even orbiting type shots. So I'll show you the screen grab and then I'll play the final video after it was processed. So for anybody who's not familiar with video and you're wondering how it's doing that, basically the iPhone is recording in the 4K sensor and it's recording the gyro data. So you'll see that my frame just shifted all over the place. But what it does is it uses that data and then it gives you an image that's cropped in a little bit, and it's an overall quality of 2.8K. It's essentially doing exactly what all these GoPros and Insta360 action cams do to stabilize the footage. So I quickly just wanted to address the action button. At first glance, it's really exciting because it's great to have a button you can customize. But after a few days, if not a few hours, it starts to wear off because all the settings that you have to choose from are easily accessible through the control center. But where the real power lies is in the shortcuts. And if you do a quick search on YouTube, there are videos that are up to 30 minutes long showing you all these different actions that you can do. I have mine set right now to toggle the always display on or off. And you can do things like start your coffee machine, open up the trunk of your Tesla. And I think that's where the power really lies if you want to really tweak it and make it your own. All right, so just to wrap it all up, after editing all the footage and the photos coming from both iPhones, I would say that for most people, if your iPhone 13 Pro is still running good, it's not sluggish, the battery life is still really high, then this phone is still going to serve you really well. As you can tell, most of the photos coming out of both phones were hard to tell the differences. I think with the iPhone 15 Pro, where it shines is if you are a professional. Because yes, it's really comfortable to hold. The materials feel really nice. The phone overall is a better improvement over the iPhone 13 Pro. But unless you're really taking advantage of the 48 megapixel photos, like you're gonna blow them up really large as a professional, then most people aren't gonna use it. I think the action button is really great, as I mentioned. If you wanna program it to do something like set a scene with your hue lights, that is also really good. But as it is out of the box, I think people will eventually kind of just forget about it. And USB-C, though convenient, I think a lot of people are still okay just plugging their phone into a lightning cable and charging their phone. For professionals, however, that USB-C is really important because when you're recording the log footage, you need to record to an external SSD because the files are extremely large. And speaking of the log footage, I didn't really want to shoot with it because I wanted to save that for the dedicated video about shooting video on the iPhone 15 Pro. But I did take two comparison clips. I took a shot where I filmed with the Apple Log and with the iPhone 13 Pro's ProRes, and you can clearly tell a difference. The shot coming out of the iPhone 15 Pro, in the end, after it was color graded and color corrected, it looks a lot nicer. It definitely looks like footage coming out of something like my Sony camera, which I'm filming with right now. And so you can definitely intercut and use these two log modes side by side. And I can't wait to test that out even further. So as an upgrade for the everyday person, I don't know that they need to upgrade or that you need to upgrade. But if you're someone who is looking to take your content up a level or take it more seriously, or you are a working professional who wants to make sure that they can get content out of their mobile phone for whatever reason in a pinch, then this is definitely a time to upgrade to the iPhone. So that's pretty much it. It was as in-depth as I could make it with the time that I had so far. And I hope that you found it useful or interesting or found it enlightening in whatever way that you might have not known before. But that's pretty much it. So if you enjoyed watching this video, please share. It really supports the channel. If you want to, consider subscribing. I would really much appreciate that. But otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And we'll catch you in the next video where we try to film something really beautiful and cinematic with the iPhone 15 Pro. So as always, live passionately, and stay inspired. Bye.